Hello friends, today is my 28th presentation on another interesting subject of how to develop financial authority norms manual. This is in the context of uh, the designers in the real estate industry. What I plan to include in this presentation is the purpose for which payments are required to be made and list of other financial documents, methods for making payments to overseas vendors in foreign currency, methods for making payments to the local vendors, key 9 activities to make financial authority manual, template for financial authority limits, uh, 5 types of supporting documents which are required before signing, approving the financial authority documents, responsibility matrix based on the SOD segregation of duty concept, activities that can adversely impact business and future references. The purpose for making for purpose for which payments are required to be made. In the context of the designers, these can be design services outsourced to the designers, such as architects or interior or MVP designers. Services received from the external service providers, such as sample inspection and testing and statutory consultancy, prototype, sample room development, rendering, etc. Procuring design related equipment, hardware or software packages, BOQ materials, etc., and also the softwares. Reimbursement towards the out of pocket expenses incurred by the outsourced design consultants or the in house design teams. Similar work related to the design functions such as statutory approvals, related payments or licenses. Expenses such as salaries, overhead, finance costs, etc. Are included in the similar manual for other functions and hence not included here specifically. Methods for making payments to overseas vendors in the case of foreign currency. Now, at times designers they engage the consultant from overseas or they procure samples from overseas. So this slide is primarily applicable for those kind of payments, and this is just primarily for refreshing the minds about the type of payments which are required to be made. So first is the irrevocable LC opening by the importer in the favor of the beneficiary, that is the exporter or consultant or vendor. Payments through the bank using SWIFT, net banking, online banking or internet banking directly by the importer using TT telegraphic transfers, document collection where the payment documents are received through the bank, open account payment documents are here received directly by the importers, cash in advance in foreign currency notes, international credit card or debit cards, and traveler checks issued by the reputed international banks. Method for making payments to local vendors in local currency. These are net banking, online banking, or internet banking. Bank transfers like using IMPS or NEFT using IFSC codes. UPI Unified Payment Interface introduced in India few months ago. Bank checks or demand drafts, a letter of credit, checks, debit cards, credit cards, cash, etc. Now, key 9 activities to make financial authorization manual. Uh, Number one is issuance of the policy direction for financial authority authorization by the board or promoters. Number two, designing the formats contents of the proposed financial manual. In this presentation, I have included a template which will give some inputs to you. Developing function-wise details for the financial authority manuals. Periodic review of the payment methods and approval norms as per the cycle time for payment release. Post approval as per the responsibility matrix at point 7 below. Identify documents that need board approval as mandatory or needing power of attorney. Maintain central serial control of the original authorization document, usually with the CFO, incorporating the empowerment in the authority norms as per the risk appetite while considering the productivity enhancement, ensuring the controlled circulation of the approved financial documents, and developing the software program or workflow in the ERP environments. Now, this is the suggested template for the financial authority norms. It has got the first column is got the what kind of document we are talking about, and second column is currency, whether it is Indian or foreign currency. Then financial limit for each type of document to be approved. Then who will initiate, who will edit, who will delete, and who will approve in the column number 4, 5, 6, 7 respectively. For example, the first row is negotiation with the consultants. So who will do the consultant? Who will do these negotiations for the scope of the work, for the deliverables, and for the fees? This is also a financial document. Negotiation with the vendors for the BOQ samples or the softwares, etc. Here also the limits need to be set up, and the column number 4, 5, 6, 7 indicate who can initiate, who can edit, who can delete, and who can approve, considering the SOT concepts. uh, Negotiation with the vendors. Uh, this is the primarily and agreements with the vendors and purchase order with the vendors. You see, negotiation can be done by someone, but you know these purchase orders for these or agreement for these need to be signed by a different person, not necessarily the same person who has done the negotiation. So this can be delegated down once the approval is there for the rates, fees, and other terms. Next line is the invoices. You know, the invoices, they will come from the consultants, they can come from the vendors, etc. So who is authorized to initiate, edit, delete, and approve these such kind of invoices? Continued. Next is the once these invoices have been approved or documents have been approved, for making the payments, who can release the payment requisition? Now payment requisition can be for the statutory fees or can be for be anything else. So these need to be sent to the finance before they make the payments by different modes which I have mentioned earlier. uh, uh, Reimbursement claims for the design teams. Now, who can do that? What are the limits for local travel, international travel, and other expenses? And who can initiate, edit, delete, and approve the payments? Similarly, debit notes received from the consultants or the vendors. Design Now designers payroll related documents. Now, while the details are there in the similar manual to be prepared by me in future for the HR function, but here I am just indicating if there are any documents related to the payroll, for example some increment or something like that. So who can initiate, who can edit, who can delete, and who can approve this? This is just one example. Now here, now within each the for each rows, for each type of column, the rows can be added to meet the different financial limits for different hierarchical levels. You want to set up the lower limit for low level people, so you can insert additional rows and so on and so forth. The hierarchical level mentioned in column number 4, 5, 6, 7, these will need to be decided by the concerned HOD in consultation with the CEO, etc., and added here. Now, developing norms like this without the names of the employees is a very big advantage, and you need to simply state the employee code and the level, because in case of employee transfer or promotion or leaving the organization, simply the team member could code will get replaced. The content design format for each type of the agreement, purchase order, claims, payment, acquisition, etc., are at the discretion of the organization or driven by the ERP software solution inbuilt into such solution, and hence not included in this presentation. The appropriate workflows must be configured in the ERP software solution for meeting the above authority norms. Cycle time for completing each activity, for example invoicing approval, for example PO signing, etc., etc., they need to be also incorporated, and these can be incorporated in the SOP document. uh, Now this point I already covered, that HOD can consult CEO and MD for who will be authorized to initiate or edit or delete or approve the such authority norms. It is very important that before such documents are approved and financial document is put into active use, there are supporting documents which must also be seen by the concerned proposed financial authority person, and these are being given in the next slide. Now supporting documents, there are different kind of documents which I have indicated here in these two columns. One is this document type A, B, C, D, E, and on the example I have given, for example, the supporting documents can be quotations, comparisons, agreements of purchase orders for making this quotation comparison of the supporting documents for the making of the purchase order, etc., agreement, etc., and agreement purchase orders are the supporting document for approval for release of the payment by the finance team. Now, similarly, outgoing payment documents, other supporting documents are the acceptance report of the design work submitted by the consultant, purchase or incoming BOQ material acceptance report, what is called material inward document or good receipt note, internal payment computation voucher at the company, which is called the payment voucher or PV or whatever name you want to call it, and invoice and debit note claims of the outsourced consultant or vendors or service provider. Now, there can be at times even incoming payment related documents received by the designer. This can be credit note of the consultant and vendors or payment instruments sometime received from these people as refunds, etc. Expense claims documents. This is document number D, which I am talking about. This column, the claim forms for the official expenses incurred by the employees, design team. Reimbursement claims documents. This is like local convenience, travel expense vouchers, out-of-pocket expenses, etc., etc. These are the supporting documents which need to be must be validated, reviewed before the approving the financial documents which I mentioned in the previous slide. Now, activities that can adversely impact the business vis-a-vis these financial authority norms, like in the case of supporting documents, not ensuring completeness and comprehension of the payment supporting documents, such as technical aspect in the purchase order not there, or commercial aspects like rates, payment terms, escalation clauses, packing, freight, forwarding, insurance, reimbursement, like travels, free days of visits, etc. If these are not specified, these can lead to a lot of issues at the time of approving of the purchase orders, or there can be incorrect and excess payments made. Payment stages, particularly in the context of the designers, what are the various deliverables, what stage, these need to be specified in the purchase order so that making of the payment vis-a-vis the financial authority norm is appropriate. Taxes, duties, and statutory charges. Credit documents from business associates, statutory bodies, etc. Now, at times, particularly in the case of advances required to be made to the vendors, financial teams also expect the concerned designers or purchase team in case of larger value orders or for the contract teams, etc., etc. They need before processing the advance payments, they need bank guarantees or bonds, etc., etc. These are also required to be made, and in case these are not available, now this can cause problems, adversely impact the business, and these need to be supported. Continued, in the case of outgoing payments, not assuring availability of the work completion or material availability or work acceptance reports, inaccurate computation of the following before processing the payments, like actual computation basis, due date for computation, rates payable for extra scope of work beyond the agreement. Sometimes designers they expect some additional work to be done, so this is talking about that. Time overruns by the consultants, incentive computation worksheets, taxes, levies, duties, penalties, fines, etc., etc., for delayed completion or incorrect computation. Activities that can adversely impact continued in the context of the incoming payments related documents, for example, instruments like checks, LC, and credit notes or vendors, etc., etc., not ensuring the availability of these documents as properly authorized. Uh, Payment supporting documents like expense claim, reimbursement claims, etc., etc., not ensuring the documents are properly authorized. Payment supporting documents like pocket expenses, out of pocket expenses, income for official work, not ensuring the documents properly authorized. So, one is in the context of the vendors, one is in the context of the employees. Not ensuring that SOD concepts are incorporated in the initiating, the modifying, the viewing, and deleting the approving aspects, evolving authority norms manuals which are skewed with ulterior motives and obtaining and thus making power centers. It means that basically, most of the authorities are being concentrated on one or two preferred employees or persons. Using superseded or obsolete financial authority manuals due to uncontrolled circulation, making circular changes in these to allow specific transactions, and then restoring the original values with ulterior motives, and similarly simultaneously disabling the audit trails to prevent detection, The financial authority norms do not have provisions for managing emergency-like situations, which could be power outage, it could be floods, it could be dacoity, it could be anything. What to do? These financial authority norms need to have such kind of provisions because their situation will be different. Making authority norms which are vague, leading to misinterpretation and conflicts. Uh, Incorporating incorrect financial limits in the workflow and embedded software with service which is approved by the management, and using financial authority manual by users who have not yet been approved appropriately authorized by the COMD, um, as relevant such as below: the power of attorney which serves as a authority documents for statutory bodies, power of attorney not being in a stamp paper, power of attorney not carrying the proper company seal, etc., etc. You can find more details about this in chapter 16 in my handbook, and annexure 38C, which gives more details like a template. My book is titled as Ethics in the Real Estate and Hospitality Industry, Volume 1, Architecture, Interior and Ambient Designers. You can also refer to the blog which I have mentioned here, this slide, and there can be some articles in the Facebook and LinkedIn of mine. And your book is available now in the Amazon.in and Amazon.com, and few of the retail outlets in the Indian major cities. Thank you.